Just coming up. 1 second. Okay. Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Srimati Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gaurvani Charine Nirvishesha Shrivadi Pasharya Dishatarine Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaur Bhaktavrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, dear devotees. So today, I wanted to start understanding because from failures we learn much more than success. And I have had so many failures, and I've learned so much from him in attempting to start farm communities and Varnashrama college. Especially devotees have to, they normally try to go deeper into their own consciousness and also into Srila Prabhupada's books and try to understand what he would like us to do now and discuss with other devotees, and world experience becomes even more deeper. So as long as the sincere service attempt is going on, we keep learning and building our Krishna consciousness, which is the main purpose. So in that same vein, Krishna Kishore Prabhu, he had attempted developing farm community or Varnashram community in Mexico a few years back. I don't know much about it, but I just saw one time a excerpt of some video, and so I've been requesting him to come here and explain to us what he attempted and what he was trying to do and what were the obstacles faced and what he learned. So he's kindly, finally, from his busy schedule, agreed to come and answer our questions and explain. So Krishna Kishore Prabhu, if you could give us a brief intro about what have you been doing when you came to Krishna consciousness, and so that we can know a little bit more about you, Prabhu. Hare Krishna. Thank you very much for coming.
Hare Krishna, bro. Thanks for inviting me. So I don't have much to say. I think, but one thing that I think is very valuable is the experience we gain from our failures. I think that's a very good point because yeah, actually we failed twice trying to establish some farm community with the devotees. So the first time it wasn't like I don't mean that it wasn't very serious, but we didn't have like some resources. There were not many devotees. The second time there were, but still there was a failure. So we thought in the first attempt that if we only had this, then it could have been some success. But the second time there were all these things, but still there were some failure. So yes, Prabhu. So I was living in Europe when first I was living in Mexico City. I was born in Mexico City. I was trying to do something, but I must be honest that it was very minimum. I was completely alone. There were not like Prabhupada disciples. There were like other institutions like that, sanghas, but I wasn't like into associating with them. So I was trying to do it I was trying to do something alone. It was very hard for me. Then I was invited by some devotees in Europe to join them. I joined the temple actually in Spain, and I think it helped me a lot because I gained some experience, like practical experience, like cooking, kirtan, this, that, because before I didn't have the association to learn all these things. So after some time, I think it was a short period of time, like 1 year or something, I came back to Mexico and I came with the idea of farm community. So immediately I landed
Year
in
was
Mexico
that,
City.
Prabhu? Which year was
So
that? Which
it
year?
was 2020, let me see, 2020, bro.
Okay.
Yeah, 2020. So I came back to Mexico City and I thought of establishing a farm community, though I didn't know like Prabhupada disciples. but only these devotees in Europe that invited me to join them. And in Mexico, there were not like Prabhupada's disciples, so far I knew. So I came with this idea of establishing a farm community, thinking of establishing in Puerto Escondido, Oaxaca, where my mother's family is established. It's a very nice place. I don't know if you know something about Puerto Escondido. It's like kind of famous, like coconuts, papaya, bananas growing up in the streets. Like you don't even need to plant them. Like I think somebody was saying last time that yeah.
What is the
So
name of the city, town?
Puerto, Puer, like Puerto Rico,
Yeah,
but Puerto Escondido, Oaxaca, Mexico. Yeah, it's there, like third.
Escondido. Okay.
Puerto Escondido, Oaxaca. Yeah, so it's just next to the beach. Yeah, so the weather there is like very nice actually. So actually Bajos de Chila is just next to Puerto Escondido. We say Puerto Escondido because it's the most known place. Nobody knows Bajos de Chila, but my mother's family is from Bajos de Chila. Some relatives also are
Is
also in Puerto Escondido. Yeah, Bajos de Chila. So it's a very nice place because you have rivers there, like you have a big river. So, quesería Don Buffalo, it says quesería Don Buffalo, cheese, like quesería means cheese, Don Buffalo, just on Bajos de Chile you have uh,
buffaloes.
Buffalo, ya quesería Buffalo,
Buffalo cheese. Okay.
ya that is owned by some of my uncles that
Mhm.
que sería de buffalo cheese. So they live there. So I thought of doing it there. Why? Because like my aunt is a devotee of Krishna. My uncle, one of my uncles, is a devotee of Krishna, right? And my other relatives are also very positive to Krishna consciousness. Actually, they read Prabhupada's books, they buy the new books when they are out, new printing, they buy books. They like to read, though they don't practice, they still eat meat like that. Some of them eat kill cows too. But I have, yeah, that is owned by my uncle. He's not a devotee, but he's like kind of positive to Krishna consciousness. So yeah, he has like some hundreds of buffaloes before this Don Buffalo, this quesería Don Buffalo, because my grandpa he had like 1,000 cows maybe, so they were doing this thing with the cows, getting milk, making it into cheese like that. They were not like killing the cows for meat, but when they were not giving cheese, they were selling them for meat. But they like that. So before this buffalo thing came into his mind, he was doing with cows. So I think he has now like 300 buffaloes. I think all this land that you see, que sería all this land, is my grandmother's land. This big, I think, is one of the biggest houses in Bajos de Chile. But they also have plenty of land. Like I mean, like plenty. My grandpa was one of the richest in the area, the richest persons in the area, so that's why they can allow themselves to have hundreds of buffaloes. They still have cows, but I wouldn't say like 1,000 cows. I think they already sold many cows for buying these buffaloes. So they have like maybe 200 cows. Like that, you see a river is next to it. So that area, that big land you see next to Quesería Don Buffalo, surrounded by this my grandma's house, but it's like their main house. Now she passed away a few months ago. So I think like she left all this area for all the family. Everyone can go there and establish there. So this is actually the video that I share is is of that place. I'm sitting there talking. just in the middle of the river in some rock. And yeah, it's exactly that river that is going through around that land. So I was very positive about this project, though I didn't have any experience. I think let me establish some farm community. Prabhupada wants this, so let me do it. But I didn't have the resources. Actually, I came to Mexico with no money, so I was struggling in the beginning. But still, I was very positive about that. So I chose that place because my relatives are there. Maybe some help could come. After that, I went to Colombia. So I think it stopped a little bit this idea. I went to Colombia. I got married with Giribaradari. We stayed for a year. So I stayed in Mexico for 1 year because there was this COVID, right, in 2020. So most of the things stopped, right? So yeah, so it was a hard year, this 2020. So in 2021, I went to Colombia and I stayed till February 2022. But during this year, we started preaching, and then people started approaching the preaching, and we continue meditating on this idea, actually developing, not like physically, but at least we were like having discussions on how to establish the farm community, where was the best place. And because this video went kind of viral, it was recorded by Ramachandra Prabhu. Previously he was called the Living Monk on YouTube. So he had like like 100,000 subscribers, something like that. So it went kind of viral, the video about this farm community, that it was recorded on, I think it was October 2020. So many people were contacting me from all around the world, from Russia, from Canada, from Spain. They were very enthusiastic about the idea. So they were asking me if they could come and help in something, but we didn't have land, right? We didn't have anything. It was just the idea, but it was very well received, and many people felt very enthusiastic about this. Not only devotees, but also non-devotees. So they were saying like, I'm a plumber here in my country, so I can help you with this. So I have experience in this. I have experience in that. I have experience in, I don't know how you call this, but they build these earth houses, mud houses like this. So they were proposing to come to Mexico and help in something. So, but we didn't have something. So we just told them that we don't have anything. It's just a plan. It's just a project. Maybe in the future. Right now, in Mexico, there are a few devotees who in Colombia approach us, but we don't know them. I don't know anything. So yeah, so in 2022, 2022, I wasn't alone anymore, but Giri Baradari was also there with me, my wife. So what happened in Colombia? It seemed that actually but the reality was that we didn't have much money to buy some land. The bodies also didn't have money to buy some land. So then we just focused on city preaching, preaching in the city. It was very successful because in a few weeks, like 4, 6 devotees approached us. We were now together distributing books, chanting. It was like very intense preaching those days, like daily preaching, like for 10, 12 hours. So that kind of
Where was
made
that?
us
In Bogota or in Mexico City?
in Mexico City now. Actually, my wife is from Boyacá, Sogamoso, like 4 hours from Bogota. We did something in Bogota. We were distributing books, but it wasn't like a huge thing. I think the major thing in Colombia, why we were staying in Colombia, was this virtual sangha. We call it virtual temple. So daily classes like Bhagavatam, Bhagavad Gita, So it was like the major thing that we developed there in Colombia. So that allows us to get in touch with the bodies from Mexico, from Colombia, from Argentina, from Spain, from like different countries, from the US. People were speaking Spanish because our preaching is fully in Spanish. So yeah, so that was in Colombia, but not much was done there. And we even thought about doing it in Colombia. Colombia is one of the countries. Is not is the I think is the country where most rain is there during the year. I think, yeah, we can I can research, but I think that I think it's like that. I hear like that. So actually, you have a lot of vegetables, a lot of fruits, but the thing is that it's a little bit cold. So with the devotees, we were thinking, and the virtual temple, we were discussing about the farm community, that Colombia was a little bit cold. So many devotees are not into cold countries. Myself, I cannot like, yeah, I cannot stay in some cold place. I have been in Europe during winter, and it's like hell for me actually. Like my brain freezes, my body freezes, so I cannot even think properly or meditate on Krishna properly. So Colombia can be a little bit cold, not like Europe, but it can be cold, especially if you go to this Bogota, this Boyacá. So it's very cold. You have also Barranquilla, Cartagena. It's very hot, very warm, but I think we didn't think of it. But we thought of Mexico. Everyone was in love with this Mexico, with this Puerto Escondido in Mexico, so much that many devotees were asking, please let us move to the farm. But again, we were explaining them that we didn't have the farm. It was just an idea, a project, but we didn't have. But they wanted to move. Actually, they wanted to buy their own land just next to the temple and enjoy the beach which is there. And also because I was showing a few things about Puerto Escondido, how you have coconuts growing in the streets, papayas, bananas, right? The way of living is very nice. You have a lot of fruits like that. Mangoes, yeah, mangoes is very important because people there in Puerto Escondido, Bajos de Chila, they don't like mangoes because they have so much mangoes that they are fed up with mangoes. They don't want to know anything about mangoes. Actually, like sometimes you go to some shops and the owners they give you for free some sweet or something to their clients, to his clients. So in Bajos de Chila, Puerto Escondido, you have the shops giving away mangoes. Like you take mangoes. So tourists, they think that, oh, they are, because mango is very expensive everywhere. I mean, outside Bajos de Chila, Puerto Escondido, Mexico City is quite expensive, not like maybe Europe, North America, but still for us it's kind of expensive. So they are giving away mangoes. So everyone was captivated by this idea. The weather was also very nice. It can get cold at night, but not really cold. Like you can sleep just hamaca. I don't know if there is an English word for hamaca. That one that you tie between two trees and then you can sleep there. Like very nice. You can like swing like that hamaca we call it. So everyone was captivated by this, but because we were preaching in the city, we forgot about this area and we didn't have enough money to buy something there. But the proposal was very nice. Then we got like some success in the city. Some initiations on behalf of Prabhupada were happening too.
City,
Uh,
Mexico
in,
City,
in,
or which?
in Mexico City, now Mexico City. So
Yeah.
we forgot about this farm community. We then the idea came, let's establish a temple in Mexico City, like a full-time temple. So we were trying to find to attract some brahmacharis so they could take charge with our help. We were also like almost, I think we were full-time devotees at that time, like fully engaged in book distribution and chanting in the streets. But not brahmacharis were coming, almost only grihastas. Some single devotees were coming, but they were not into like full-time temples. We tried for that like 2 3 years till Arjuna Prabhu came. He was the first brahmachari, actually first class devotee. Yeah, one of the most sincere devotees that we have met in Mexico, actually. So he helped us a lot. We were working as a full-time temple, but the results, there were some results, but not. That's why I'm mentioning about this preaching in the city, because that helps us understand how now we want to do with the farm community. We are attempting for the third time, not yet, but we are almost there. Third attempt to establish a farm community, but now with a different vision. And the preaching the city help us also like envision the whole thing, this farm community project. So the results weren't, there were results, but many devotees were coming, many new people were coming, but also they were leaving. They also, we were investing a lot of energy. It was very hard for three of us. Like there were devotees also helping, but outside, but like full time, three people like Arjuna Prabhu, Giri Varadari, and myself. And it was such a, because the Mexico City is a crazy city, like the traffic jam, and yeah, it's like very heavy. Like the energy is very heavy, and also Mexicans are very passionate. So sometimes the bodies were coming, new people were coming and causing trouble, and it was yeah, it wasn't a good experience that. But anyway, we kept going. But meanwhile, another devotee got some land in Huatulco. Actually, you have Puerto Escondido just next to Huatulco, Santa Maria Huatulco. You see there in right side of Puerto Escondido, you see Santa Maria Huatulco. He got a big plot of land, like tract of land. It was very big. We met, then he went there, he bought this land or something like that. So it was in the mountains of Huatulco, still Oaxaca, the state of Oaxaca. Very nice place also. And then we thought, okay, let's go for our second attempt to establish the farm community. But he was a little bit like, I think he had like this tendency to be like dictatorship. Yeah, so he was like very heavy on some devotees, because there were already some sangha of devotees, like 20 devotees already there,
Mm.
20, 30 in a period of 1 year, maybe. So yeah, so it was like that. So he got this land. He was already growing up food, pineapple, papaya, banana,
Oh,
coconuts, tomatoes, all kind of vegetables, and all kind of fruits. But because of this tendency that he had, many devotees felt insulted, and like that. Actually, now I'm recording that we tried 3 times already. So this was the second one. So um, it didn't work, because first we thought, okay, he said, let's bring devotees. You have you know the people. I don't know any devotee, any people. So you bring the devotees. I will give the land. So we were discussing under which terms, because at the same time in Mexico, not Mexico City, but like 1.5 hours from Mexico City. I don't remember the name now. The place is not Mexico City, it's a state of Mexico. So there were another ISKCON devotee, like from the 80s, who got some land. He's like millionaire here in Mexico. He got some land, and he contacted us when we came, after a few months we came to Mexico. I think it's Morelos, State of Mexico. ¿Cómo se llama donde está Mahasankar Shangiri? Yautepec. Hilotepec, yeah, Hilotepec is called. It's a kind of cold place, but anyway, it was some land. It's Gilotepec, like yeah, yeah, in Spanish, with J, Gilotepec. Yeah, the J sounds like H. Gilotepec. Yeah, it's Gilotepec de Molina. Gilotepec. Yeah, not
Molina.
Veracruz, but the state of Mexico. Yeah, that is
You had it.
Veracruz.
What's that, John Prabhu?
You had it on the search. It was Gito Peck Molina when you
Yeah.
were searching. Yeah, there. Prabhu, can I ask a quick question?
Yes,
You
sir.
said that this dictatorship type devotee, he had this land, and in 1 year they had 30 devotees. How did he, what was his method of preaching or reaching out or being able to get the 30 devotees in 1 year's time? What was that? How did that happen?
Yeah, yeah, actually, he wasn't preaching, but we were preaching. So we attracted all those devotees
Ah,
and new
I see.
people to the preaching. Most of them were new devotees. Actually, we are focusing on new devotees. Once they
Sure.
are devotees, then we focus. But yeah, he wasn't preaching. He just got the land, and he told us, "You have the devotees. You know the devotees. Bring them here." And I will give the facilities here. So at the same time, we met some ex-ISKCON devotee
Mm,
who had this in Hilotepec. Those
yes.
two devotees were already living there, some couple. So we met them in that farm. They were already living there, but they were like completely burned out. Like they didn't want to know about this farm because the devotee was exploiting them. He wasn't paying anything for their work, but they were like workers. It wasn't like a farm community for their services, like kind of paying, but not like monetarily. But he was just giving some accommodation and some boga he was bringing, and it was kind of isolated, so they didn't have any vehicle to move around or to go to the city even if they were sick. So they were completely burned out by this. They got initiation on behalf of Srila Prabhupada, and immediately they left the farm community. So when this second devotee in Santa Maria Huatulco proposed us bring people, then these two devotees said, but under which terms? Because
Mm,
our previous experience was that some devotee was the owner of the land and he was exploiting us. We didn't have any right to say
hmm
anything, and
Yes, I understand.
sometimes they're doing there and having like some non-devotional activities like and treating them, these two devotees, as workers. So please bring this, please bring that, please clean here.
Yeah.
So
And from
then
that
we thought,
learning and from that learning experience, you know now to get this term straight before you get involved with something.
yeah, actually. So
I understand. Yeah.
with this second devotee in Santa Maria Huatulco, we talk, we all talked to him. We said there cannot be only one owner of the land because then the exploitation may come. Nobody has a right to say anything, and you can just kick them out
Kick,
whenever
kick them out.
you
Yeah.
feel like. Yeah, you feel
Yeah.
like. So he said, yeah, I don't have any issue like making like some trust, like some non-profit organization like that. I don't know what is the situation in other countries, but in Mexico, this land, like most of the land, belongs to the government. Like you cannot claim proprietorship. Like this is my land. So you have like some council that decides. Like you buy the land. Like this second devotee in Santa Maria Huatulco, he bought the land, but it wasn't uh, his property.
In other words,
It,
the government could take it away at any time.
yes, yes. If the council
Wow.
decides that, then the government can just take it away. Not all the
And then,
land, but
so you said,
yeah,
wait, so let me just be clear. You say he bought the land, but in Mexico, you never own the land. So if they tell him that they want the land back, do they reimburse him what he put in, the money? I think you're frozen.
It's like that. Yeah, not all the land is like that, but that area specifically, you cannot claim proprietorship. You can claim if the council decides, like they say, yeah, now you can claim proprietorship. So then you just go pay something and that's it. But that land wasn't under those terms. So you paid, like you buy it, but you
Yep.
buy the right to live there, to cultivate the land, to work on the land. Otherwise, if you don't live there, you don't work, it is taken away
Yeah,
from
yeah,
you.
yeah, yeah.
Like in the city, you can, yeah, like the city, you can have many properties, never live there,
No, in other words,
renting them,
they want you to
rent them.
they want you to utilize and develop the property. Now, is it that once you
Yeah,
utilize and
yeah.
develop the property, once you utilize and they develop the property, they see you're doing nicely, you're doing good, you're growing things, then they can say, okay, we'll give you proprietorship, pay something, and you keep it. Is it right or not?
Yeah, something like that. Yeah, you pay like it's not how to say some bribe to the council. You give some extra money, so they approve that now you can claim proprietorship. So it's not like
I
a
see.
very
Okay, so
illegal thing.
you
Yeah,
have to prove yourself. Basically, you have to prove yourself. Yeah,
yeah, yeah, and give
yeah.
some money to them. For them,
Give
not
some,
for the
yeah,
government.
give
They
some
take
money.
it and
Yeah,
they approve it.
and then they approve it. Okay, okay.
Yeah,
I didn't mean to
yes,
interrupt you. I just wanted to be
yeah,
clear about how the situation works. So now he's not
yes,
he's,
Prabhu.
but that hasn't happened yet. That hasn't happened yet.
No, actually, that's why he was very positive into at all possible. It had to be under his name, like he was working the land. So we tried to go. We went there. We started working with a few things. We helped a little bit. He helped us with some other things. When the time of bringing people to that place came, he was like, yeah, he did a few things that the body felt very insecure, very unsafe about moving there from the city, mostly from Mexico City, to this Santa Maria, like leaving everything, their jobs, their families, like that, and just
Sure.
moving there. So like some devotees, because most of them were grihastas, they had children. So he said children cannot come here because
Oh.
yeah, we waste money, we waste time. Like only adults can come here, grown-ups, and work and work on the land. Children will make us waste our time like that. So we couldn't say anything because he was the owner and he got very angry. We, yeah, some bad experience like that. So at the same time we were trying with this devotee in Hilotepec. He was also like that, right? He even proposed Girivaradari and myself to go and live there, but it wasn't clear like the terms, so we decided that no. So then these two attempts didn't actually work. Then the devotee got into some, I don't know, like some other ideas apart from Krishna consciousness, which were a little bit judgmental. So we started advancing in preaching the movement of Lord Chaitanya or establishing a farm community on the land. So it didn't work. Now we focus entirely on preaching on the city. We forgot for a few years about the farm community because there was some success in the city. We started distributing magazines, books. Many devotees were coming, new people, entire families, like 5, 7 members family. So we completely forgot about the farm community, but at the same time, in the city, something was like the beginning, and so you attract to that name, to that institution people, but something wasn't matching and it wasn't working like it could work. So then we just switch or change a little bit the mood of the preaching, right? Because many new people were coming, but they were also leaving. Some devotees were fighting. There were a lot of fightings between devotees. Mexican can be very passionate and like kind of kshatriya spirit. So yeah, there were a lot of fights like that. We were involved because we were kind of the leaders. So yeah, then last year we changed the whole thing. Now we stop focusing on institution. And I just want to share I'm not saying that everyone should do this or I want to contradict Prabhupada or the way Prabhupada did it, but what we did and how it worked very well. Then we said, because Arjuna Prabhu left, he was supposed to stay only 1 year, so the 1 year was completed. He went back to Europe. So again, Girivaradari and I were here like full time, but there were many devotees still like outside. So we said, let's forget about this temple idea, this leadership idea, like leadership in the sense that you vote the temple president, you vote a leader like this. Let's just focus on chanting and inspiring others to have Namahatas. So this project of Namahatas started. So we were training and inspiring families, whole families, to replicate what we were doing: book distribution, chanting, Namahatas, and to take some seva, digital seva, physical seva, to teach them how to worship the deity, how to play instruments, how to cook for Krishna, how, yeah, like this, how to. In that way, the preaching just like flourish. Like we have around 20 Namahatas, like 20 families in different countries, not only in Mexico. That allows us also to expand the preaching without to be under a name or institution. Now there are Namahatas or devotees in Colombia, in South America, in Guatemala, Mexico, Spain, like that. And also the book distribution just increased enormously to thousands and thousands of books. So you can find books in Paraguay, Argentina, Chile, Peru, Colombia, like most of Latin America. There are Prabhupada's original books printed by us in Spanish. So now we got again this new we want to attempt again for this farm community, but with this approach, not like an institution, a land that is owned by an individual, not a farm or a land that is owned by non-profit to try, because we try to give full responsibility to everyone. Now you are responsible to keep going with Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's movement. So we are just trying to inspire you. If you want to accept someone as leader, ourselves, your husband, your neighbor as your leader, it's okay. There are no votes here. You just learn to hear, to see through your eyes. You just take some further. Like, I mean, Prabhupada is the head of everything, but sometimes devotees need to be also guided. So you just take as your guide someone who is following Prabhupada, whoever you consider it. So we nourish this by the daily classes. Actually, we discussions classes like that, readings of Prabhupada's books, so they go in the right way. So we will try that with the new attempt, the farm community. Like our plan is, first of all, as you know, we were very worried also about living because whatever was done here in the city, I think was completed so far. Giri Baradari and I are concerned. Many more devotees are in the city, so they also have the responsibility to keep attracting people, distributing books, chanting in the streets as main activities like that. So now we feel ready to move outside the city. So first of all, what we plan is to buy some land only for Giribaradari and I, not for any other devotee, not for cows, not for big agriculture, not for Gurukula, not for a college, anything. Just Giribaradari and I. So we established there, we have talked to some devotees about this idea. They are feeling very positive. Now we feel it like kind of more established than before. Before it was like very passionate, like, but now it feels like more secure, like more safe, kind of that. So we moved there and we preach locally. We preach locally and we invite other devotees to move nearby us. It doesn't have to be in the same land. Like there is a saying in Mexico, juntos pero no revueltos. Like you are together but not like mixed, kind of that this saying in Spanish. So it doesn't matter that another devotee is living like 10 minutes away, far away, 5 minutes, or just next to our place. And it doesn't matter that are some meat-eaters neighbors there. We really have confidence that they will feel positive towards Krishna consciousness, and the influence will be so strong that they will like. Because I have experience in the first attempt in Puerto Escondido when I came from Mexico. I went there. I was distributing some books, chanting Hare Krishna alone because there was nobody there, and my family started getting attracted to the point that my uncle, my aunt, they became devotees. So they are now also following the regulative principles, chanting japa. They have their own altar. So like that. And also I experienced with my own family when I started in Krishna consciousness, they were kind of against Krishna consciousness, but in a few years they became also devotees. So I can say that all my family is devotees, my brothers, my mother, my father, my brother, my sister. I have one brother, one sister. So my brothers, they have become also very positive towards Krishna consciousness. So that is our plan. We establish ourselves there. We invite some other devotees, which they are very positive on doing it. Actually, they express their desire to do it. Now, these devotees who express their desire to do it are more fixed up because I think that is also something that is happening with ourselves, that sometimes we are not fixed up. So we can feel very positive in the beginning, very enthusiastic, but during time, this enthusiasm just decreases, so we cannot keep going with things. I think this mode of goodness sometimes, I mean, not sometimes, like always, is very needed to keep going. Instead of just some passion, we start something, and then some ignorance, we destroy everything, or I forget about everything. So because of the preaching in the city, how we approach the preaching, these devotees are more established. We feel they feel more established, more fixed off in their own practice, like that. So these devotees who are willing to also come with us and establish, they establish their own place. They get their own land also. So we feel that it's kind of more established, and yeah, so that's our plan now, because we need to live, we need to buy things, we need to get some lakshmi. So one second. So yeah, so then Uh, we have thought about some means to get some Lakshmi, like most of the devotees that are willing to move, they teach, for example, martial arts. Some of them are I don't know how you say, they sell things in the market like that. Myself, I'm working online. So, but how we want to approach that is not the responsibility of other devotees, our own living. It's not that we are cruel or like that, but because otherwise it starts becoming very hard. I got inspired from how the place we live in was established. This is in a mountain, still in Mexico City, but is in a mountain. Got established here was like in 1980, kind of that. Otherwise, this place was empty. There were nobody living here in the mountain. So now, how one person came here? It was first one person. I researched with the neighbors. One person came, and I mean like most places start like that. Only one person came here because the land here was for free at that time. The government was giving for free, so it can be populated this area. So he came to the mountain. It was for free. See, at that time. So then he had to go to the city to work. It was kind of like 1 hour. I mean, you are already in downtown. So he was going to the downtown to for working. Then he passed the boys around. I don't know if I'm saying correctly. It's kind of similar in Spanish. So he invited more people to come. They came here. They started doing their own thing also. They invited more people, but they also started doing their own thing alone. Nobody was the responsibility of anyone else. Everyone started doing their own thing, and then four, five, six families, 10 families now is overpopulated this area. So then there was the need of shops, the need of public transport, the need of schools. So as the society is growing, the needs appear and the solutions also appear. So now you have schools, you have public transport, you have even more jobs, local jobs. You don't need to go to the city. You just go to the downtown for preaching, but otherwise we have big supermarkets here, we have public transport, we have everything, fruits, vegetables, whatever we want, we can get it 10 minutes from the place we live in. So so that's what we want to replicate in this new attempt of farm community, kind of that we call it. I mean, it's not like farm community. I don't know how to. It's like a community. So we move there. We start doing our own thing. We can help other devotees to do the same. Like we have this idea. My aunt, which is a devotee, she's producing cheese, not buffalo cheese, but cheese. So she's living just by that. She's very expert. She has a very nice shop with spices also, with honey. She's buying and selling honey, and with the cheese that she personally is making. She sells a lot of cheese. In Mexico we take a lot of cheese. Butter is not like very common, like, yeah, like this margarine you have. But cheese, everywhere you have, like, I mean, like everywhere you have cheese, the different types of cheese. So she's getting a very nice income by selling cheese. So our idea is that everyone is responsible for their own maintenance, but we can help them. We can help them. Actually, I have helped like two devotees with some business, and now they are maintaining by that. I helped them with some ideas. I taught them something. Now they maintain themselves like that. So that is our idea. So how we are maintaining ourselves there, because I'm doing some projects online, and also my plan there is to grow up a few things. That's also some idea we have, like in Mexico. I think in most parts of the world, in Mexico, this trueque, that is that you exchange goods. So it's small, just for our personal maintenance, and a little bit more so we can kind of exchange, do this trueque activity with some other devotees. So then we can become self-sufficient step by step. And then, because the more devotees may come, other devotees may get converted there, and people, then there will be needs, right? Need for this, need for that, need for even for a temple, like full-time temple, like temple with big deities, very nice temple, I mean to say. So, but when there is need, otherwise I saw in Jaipur, I was in farm Hare Krishna farm community with Dalai Unitai Prabhu, and we went there for 1 week, I think. There were very nice houses around, but they were empty. So very nice temple, beautiful temple. It was beautiful temple. So it was very big, but we were only like attending the programs like 4, 6 there. So I know that he has a lot of brahmacharis in the city. They are doing amazing work. But yeah, big construction. So we were helping cleaning the temple, and it was taking a lot of time. Such a huge place, but there were not people. So to take care of the temple. So big altar, very nice. For they already got, I think, Radha Shamasundar deities, big ones, but they haven't installed them, or I don't know. But 2 years ago they were in one room. So because they were not people. So we don't want. We already thought like that before. We Krishna Prabhupada saved us many times of paying big rents, even to buy a big property in Mexico, and then nobody was going to the temple. So that's why I was telling this Namahatas is very nice because it's local. So the one who is closest to the Namahata, he goes to the Namahata. He doesn't need to go to the public transport and go for 2 hours like that. So he just like 10 minutes, 20 minutes, 30 minutes, and they are in the program, and it has come up very successful. 20 Namahatas, around 20 Namahatas in Mexico, Colombia, Guatemala, some country in South America, like that. So we want to kind of follow in that direction with the community in a rural area. We don't call it anymore farm community, but we will call it community in a rural area. So then there will be need because children will be there through the time. Children will be there, so they need to be educated. So then there will be the need for a school. But if we go now and start planning about at a school, about this, about that, then we are wasting some time, sometimes money. We are building up something that right now is not a need. There is not the need. So we need now to sustain this body, to eat, to sleep, like that, to live very healthy in Krishna consciousness. So that's the first thing. We go there, we start cultivating a few things. Some things have to be bought in the beginning. Now, because we don't have money, we cannot buy. Actually, we don't have the money. Will come, Krishna will send. So when we have more money, we buy some other tract of land and we cultivate even more, right? So as a means to in the future become self-sufficient and to create like some not bubble. I don't know how to explain in English, but here in Mexico you have the juice. in Polanco, one of the richest areas in Mexico City. So they just go to Jew shops. They go to do the laundry to Jew businesses. They go to supermarket to some Jew supermarkets.
Yeah, Prabhu,
They
it's the
go
same
to
here. It's the same
just
here in the
Jews, like
States. They have the same in Brooklyn. The same thing. They have their
okay,
whole neighborhood. They have their own shops. No matter what you want to do, you go to your Jewish friend or the person in the Jewish community that does
Show
that
me
particular
the.
thing.
Can you show me the greens?
yeah, nice. So yeah,
They
we want to do
yeah.
something
It's
like
very
that.
smart. It's very smart. Yeah.
Yeah, and also let's say that we
Boy,
go to some place where there
those
are non-divorcees, meat
those
eaters.
nasty.
They have two options. They have the option to become divorcees themselves, or if they really
Oh, the
hate the
flowers are ready.
divorcees, then I think they will want to sell their land because they don't want to be close to divorcees. Then we can buy also that land. Someone can come and buy that land. So I think they have these options. We are thinking like that. I know a little bit that area, Puerto Escondido, because I had been there. I was going every year there and spending some weeks, some months. I have lived there for a few months. All my family from my mother's side, from my mother's side is there. So I kind of know the place, how it works, how the people are there. They are very positive toward Krishna consciousness. When I go there, so some neighbors of my family, they know that I'm going. They get very happy because they want to hear some Krishna Katha. They want to chant a little bit, though they don't want to follow. They are very Catholic, but still they are like very positive towards Krishna consciousness. So that is our idea. Now it has evolved to that point that we don't want to expend so much Lakshmi in building, so much planification in this and that aspect. I think that is every community starts. Like when the Aztecs came here to Mexico, it is told that they came here, they saw this eagle with this serpent, so they thought of the past prophecy that they were to find this eagle with this serpent in a nopal in this cactus. So they say, okay, we stay here. Now we came like nomads, I think it's called. So they established here, and step by step they were developing. So not so much planning, but because we as humans we have a need for some things, and we are gonna give a solution once we are in that position. If we are sent to the desert right now, then we have the need of water, we have the need for covering from the scorching heat. So then as humans we are gonna find a solution. So okay, let me find something to cover from the heat, let me go and find some water. Okay, let's move near to the water. So right away the finding of the solution or the finding out of the solution is being done. So we want to kind of do that. We are not sure still in Puerto Escondido. We want Puerto Escondido because also there is rivers, there are coconuts, free papayas, free mangoes, and some other free fruits. They are growing up in the middle of the streets by thousands. Like mango season is coming, I think, March, April, by thousands and thousands. So step by step, we buy more land. We have some cows, more agriculture, depending also on the tendency. And then I'm not talking much about this Varnashama, like this Kshatriya, this Vaishya, Shudra, Brahmana, leadership, like that, because right now we don't want to to think much about that. But once we are already living there, people is already living there, then we feel that it will develop automatically. Like those who are like even in Puerto Escondido is very common that are shudras that are not being paid, but they are being maintained. That my grandfather always had some, like let's call them shudras, some workers. He He wasn't paying them money, but he was maintaining them like some children, right? So it's some custom here in Puerto Escondido and in some areas of Mexico, rural areas. So you have like this kind of shooters, you don't pay them, but you maintain them fully. Even if they get married, you maintain the wife, this, that. Sometimes they give cows, one cow a year, so they can also build like some safety for their future, their family's future. And sometimes when they have worked like 10 years, 20 years, they are given some land to live, like their own land, something like that. So we feel that it will develop step by step. We already discussed a lot in the past about this. We planned a lot. We tried to attract people with this idea, but it didn't work. So now we want to move. That is our vision, to move to some place where we can live, some rural area, and invite others to also live there, help them to and step by step developing, yeah, like that, because we experience also like for farm communities, for non-profit organizations, sometimes the bodies come, but they are not very serious. Sometimes they have some ulterior motive, like they just fought with their parents, they want to move for some time. So you give them some responsibility, and then they just run away after some time when they are in good terms with their parents or things like this. But if we feel that if we follow what we now want to do, then there are no possibility for this type of devotees of people just to take advantage or just to cause trouble. No, no. You live here. Even if some devotee is wealthy, he can buy more, he can construct, and he can rent to other devotees. Yeah, but you pay rent. You need to pay rent unless there is, like I have told Girivara Dari, unless is Arjuna Prabhu, he wants to come here and live, then because we know him, how serious he is. When he says yes, I will do it, he does it. It doesn't matter that he's disturbed, is that he does it. He's very serious in that. If he says no, or I'm thinking that you cannot say with certainty, but if he says I'm doing it, he will do it. It doesn't matter what. So unless there are very serious devotees that want to preach, then they can live for free. But otherwise, we think that everyone should have their own place. They don't have the money to buy because land is expensive in Mexico. Then you find some non-devotee, or if a devotee has some room, some other house, you can rent the house. In that way, like serious people will be established in a real life scenario, because many of us, we are not in real life scenarios. Like we were living in the city and we were going to these farm communities, but actually we had a place in the city, we have some activities in the city. It wasn't like a real life, like okay, I have to be established here, I have to work, I have to maintain my family, I have to be Krishna conscious here, I have to preach here. It wasn't like there was always, it was like some holidays. Okay, let me go to the farm for some holidays. But then it's okay, 1 year, 6 months, it will be like it will flourishes, it flourishes, but then it just decrease, and the place is alone. You have houses, you have commodities, but nobody is there, because I think it wasn't a real life scenario. But in this case, it's a real life scenario. Like everyone is moving to live in some place. So you rent, either you rent or you have your own place. You are a preacher, you are very serious, you can stay for free. And we devotees are, as grihastas, we will provide you with boga, with prasadam, I mean, with everything, right? Like we were doing with Arjuna Prabhu came, we were taking charge of him fully. Like he needed a few things, like for the hospital, like clothing, like passport, this, that. We were like paying everything as grihastas. So if someone is serious to preach like that, now we don't feel that brahmacharis, there are not many brahmacharis right now, but grihastas, but they are also doing a very nice job here, distributing books, And the good thing is not only one devotee, but there is this nice family. They are soon to be initiated. They are 2, 3, 4, 5 members. They all are becoming Prabhupada's disciples. So 5 people at once, right away. So uh, yeah, that is actually our idea for this third, fourth attempt. Not much like not much planning, but the needs will be asking us. Okay, like the situation will be asking us. Okay, there are some children. How they are gonna be educated? So you need a school. You need a teacher. How they are gonna be taught? Okay, so some school, like I don't know, some job is needed. Okay, so we need more job sources like that. And yeah, we have like many ideas, like that's why I'm saying things here there, because we haven't planned it like much, because we feel that once we establish there is a real life scenario. So then Giri Baradari and I will take on our shoulders to analyze the situation once we are there, and invite other devotees. Like this other devotee, he teaches martial arts, so he can open a school everywhere because he has done it. He can go to the park and teach martial arts. He can get his living. So these devotees are very needed in the beginning. Little by little we see how they can get also some job opportunity. My family is there in case it is in Puerto Escondido, so maybe they can offer some job opportunity related with agriculture, with cows, with cheese, like that. And the situation will be also offering, asking and offering all these things. Like just as a community works, like you establish in some place, you need something, and then you figure it out how to provide that need. So we feel, I think we feel more enthusiastic than before about this idea, without wasting money. We also wasted so much money thinking in this temple idea in Mexico City. So we don't waste money, and also we don't waste time. Now there are more devotees, around 50, 60, so they may be also willing. So yeah, we are thinking like that. So that's what I can share. I mean, I'm not talking too much about philosophy or like that. It's not that I don't care, but I we would like to be in a real life scenario, and also with people who really needs to be in such a situation, not just like a holiday or some nice experience. Like yeah, let's do it, and after some years they want to go back to the city. So I think some maturity is needed, some that you can really commitment is needed. That is being also work by how we advance in Krishna consciousness, how we purify ourselves, how we place ourselves in the mode of goodness, so the passion is not dragging us back to the city, to the cinema, to the restaurants, to the big public transport, this, that, but to some mode of goodness environment. So I think that is being done through the preaching, through the yeah, how the devotees are advancing these namahatas, everything. So yeah, that's our plan for our new attempt, from what we learned from our past attempts. Then it will come. If Shudra, Vaishya, Kshatriya, if a Gurukula, if Brahmanas, and who will lead. And in this case, we feel that who will lead, the one who is, I mean, like leadership is kind of self-effulgent. You can fake it, you can try to establish it by force, by votes, but ultimately it is being done as something like the leader is kind of self-effulgent, like he's a leader and he's a kind of a good leader, and everyone is independent. So if this leader actually goes crazy, then nobody depends on him. Like, okay, I'm living on this place because this is a non-profit organization. You know, like, I have my own place. Also, there is the risk that everyone will be deviated. But I mean, we cannot do anything even in non-profit organizations. They deviate. So yeah, everyone has the responsibility to keep very fixed up to Prabhupada's lotus feet. I think we are focusing on that. Just keep fixed up to Prabhupada's lotus feet. Don't change anything. Don't move an inch from Prabhupada's lotus feet. And then you are safe. A community is safe. Book distribution is safe. Chanting is safe. So we are actually trying to nourish that in ourselves and in everyone. We kind of, or they kind of accept us as the leaders here in Latin America, and it has come up very successful. We don't have temple president, we don't have an official leader for Devotees as leaders. Like all the Matais are approaching Girivaradari for personal affairs, like how to deal with that in Krishna consciousness for their sadhana. But it's not that it is said you can approach Girivaradari because she is the leader. But everyone knows, okay, she has some knowledge, she chants, she follows the regulatory principles. She's an example for us, so we can come to her. So it is being done automatically. Though we don't have temple president, we don't have positions. Actually, I don't hold any official position, but still the bodies are writing me, are saying, yes, Prabhu, we follow what you say. I feel a little bit ashamed because I don't feel in that position. But whatever position Prabhupada wants to give me, I will just accept it. And everything is going very smoothly. The bodies don't fight. Book distribution has increased for thousands. Like we sometimes we ship 2,000 books, 5,000 books, 500 books. In Mexico we distribute 100 books, 500 books, shipping also to different countries. We have even shipped books, Spanish books, to Germany, to non-Spanish speaking countries. So just because we change this mentality of temple institution society, this that leadership, we just okay, let's get fixed up to Prabhupada's lotus feet, and let's take guidance from senior devotees too, so we don't deviate because the mind can cheat us that we are doing everything very nicely. So we also take guidance from senior devotees. They confirm, yes, it's very nice the movement you are doing here, there, this movement, that movement. So it was a good move, like that. So that we want to replicate for the farm community, and we want also to get sure that sincere devotees will come, sincere people, even if they are very neophyte or they have some problems with their sadhana, but at least they are sincere. At some point, they will come up successful, instead of those devotees who I don't mean to criticize, but not to fake it, like big tilak, saffron, this, that, but there is some craziness or some laziness there. We already wasted so much Lakshmi with that. So much time we also wasted. So in this way, we also make sure that sincere devotees will come, and a community will grow around this idea, just as a community grows, normal community outside Krishna consciousness. A community grows like this, and now you have where we live. We have a local church. Everyone is there, is going there because they are Catholics. So everyone goes there. There are schools, there are shops, local jobs, public transport, local public transport, private transport. So just like that. But now we should introduce Krishna consciousness, so like-minded devotees. So that's why we want to invite devotees when the time comes. When we are already established there, we don't know how much it will take because we don't have even the money right now. But if Prabhupada really desires that, then that will be done. And also because the preaching in the city, we feel that there are already many sincere devotees in different states and countries, and they can keep going this book distribution, this book printing, as I was saying, that we sometimes we donate some thousands, some hundreds of books, so they can also collect, buy more books now. the second time they buy, or they can print. So nothing is centralized. They can print if they want. So the same there in the farm community, everything is decentralized. If the leader is going nuts, then everyone can just say, okay, I'm going to my home, and close the door, and you keep your craziness in your home, and that's it. So yeah, I think many problems will be solved like that. We think like that. We still don't know. We are consulting Prabhupada, senior devotees, to see, and we are praying to Paramana to be guided towards what is the best for a successful devotee community. But so far, we feel that this is the best way. Everyone is independent, and Krishna and Prabhupada is in the center. Later on, the need for a temple will be there, right? So we plan to have some lands for the temple that everyone can come there and chant Hare Krishna and keep going what we are doing in the city. Yeah, we broadcast every day at 7 a.m. Bhagavatam class, Bhagavad Gita class, to keep going that there. Like at that time, we open the doors. Everyone who wants to join, they can come online or physically in the land. So that is kind of our plan. So yeah, so it's not like public temple, but it's not private too, but is being taken charge by some grihasta instead of a public temple that you install big deities, then the bodies live, and then you don't know what to do with those deities because they are not very well taken care of. But otherwise, if a family kinds owns the temple, or the temple is in their property, we plan to take deity worship as far as we can maintain, not as far as more devotees can come and help. No, as far as we can maintain. And if someone wants to help, they are welcome, but always thinking whatever we can maintain personally, that we will do. So that will avoid some conflicts and deity. So also how much we will grow as much as we need. If there are some leftovers, some remnants, then we can trade, we can exchange with some devotees, with some this, that. So as a community works, I think a community works, everyone is taking responsibility of their own things, but also people help. So there are people, that is the human nature. So we want to help also devotees. But at the end, everyone is completely independent. So that's what I can share. Maybe I'm saying nonsense and it doesn't make sense what what we want to do, and maybe will bring us just ruin or like that. But yeah, I think, yeah, so far the preaching in the city has worked very nice. Not only in the city, because we cannot only mention Mexico. Very nice devotees in Guatemala, first class devotees distributing books, very very fixed stops. Every day they are in the Zoom connecting to the Bhagavatam class or on Facebook, and Bhagavad Gita class every day, every day, every day, every day. Then they take one day per week, and they go out for book distribution. We are teaching that, like the Jehovah Witnesses, they go twice, I think. I was into Jehovah Witnesses when I was a kid. So twice a week, I think, once a week. The Mormons, I was also there. And you have to take some time for go and preach. So these devotees are preaching very nicely there in Guatemala, in different states of Mexico also. So it has worked very nicely. Everyone is independent, and we have seen that only very sincere devotees stay. Those who had an ulterior motive, they fade away little by little, and then, but they don't make us waste money, time, energy like that. So everything is running very smoothly. We describe it like that. Jonah Prabhu was talking to me because he wants to preach there. And some other devotees also in India told me, we are thinking about an institution, this, that, the positions, this, that. And I just said, I don't want to tell you what to do. I'm so imperfect that cannot say, but so far my experience is that we don't care about institutions, we don't care about this, that we care about being fixed up to Prabhupada's lotus feet and to follow his instructions, book distribution, chanting. Just go, don't waste money, don't waste your time thinking about this and spending money registering things. Just go for book distribution and chanting, and you will see the results. And in a few months, now they are distributing a lot of books, doing book distribution. So I think it worked kind of for them. It's not that we don't want to. If there is need to register some society, that's why I told them everywhere is different, time, place, and circumstance. So far, our example, our experience is that we don't need an institution. We don't need it. We never registered an institution. We tried a lot. It was that it was fightings this that so chant Hare Krishna, that's the what we want to do, but for you it may work. So I mean, for us, we think that for this community, rural community, we don't need an institution, and we don't need like some official leadership, but some kind of self-effulgent, I don't know how to describe it, but automatic leadership. The good leader will be able to guide the bodies to a good result, and I think nobody can be cheated in that sense. If you don't have a good leader, like the Aztecs had a good leader and they established a big empire here in Tenochtitlan, very big, because they had a good leader. Otherwise, if he's not good, then they cannot build anything in any sense. So yeah, we want to also do that in. We don't know if it's Puerto Escondido, but some nice place, warm place where we don't have to suffer from colds and pay electricity, a lot of electricity, calefacción, like that. There is a very nice place here in Cuernavaca also, just like 2 hours, and it's very, how to say it, very even in Spanish, I forgot the word, but it's very nice because the city is very nearby. So you can come and do some businesses. You have cows, you have milk. You just come, and many people are coming from that state, Morelos, to sell milk, raw milk, some cheese, some honey, some bread. So we want to do that place. We will see. Yeah, we will see.
Mhm. Very good, Prabhu. Thank you very, very much. You have been most gracious with your time to explain in detail and sharing, like in confidence, all what you have been thinking for so many years. I mean, it's so wonderful to see the effort that you have been putting in for so many years to try to preach and bring more devotees to Srila Prabhupada. And yeah, so like I really understand what you went through, and now where you are, and that you have kind of come to the conclusion at this for this time, place, circumstance that right now you need to distribute books and print books, new books, and do a Namahatta programs with people in the homes, let them develop on their own. First stage is to move to the rural area at least, and that establishes everyone, and then gradually let it develop and on its own. So that is very sage, very practical, what you are understanding. Now my questions are related to, and please, anyone else has any questions or comments, please jump in whenever you want to, because I'm very curious to know um, a few things related to this. So are you okay, Prabhu, with time? I can ask some things.
Yes, bro. I won't be on video. I will be
Sure,
taking
sure.
care of Tulasi, but I can still talk.
Sure. Okay. Okay. Hare Krishna. So my questions related are related to This is good. So first is you are coming to the rural area, and at least from the city to the rural area, and working there, you would probably get a land or try to farm there, and also in relationship to, in addition to whatever you are doing. My questions are related to the organized effort, because in, like in a community, let's say rural community also, or any community where we want to develop a perpetuating community, so to say, where devotees are there, then their children are devotees, like that, a perpetuating community. There is always some organized effort required, otherwise it's not a community. Like you kind of hinted that temple would be there. Now, I understand you are saying the temple, let's say it will be on your property, you will build a semi-public temple. And I know, like rich people, Srila Prabhupada also says rich people used to build temples, and they used to hire Brahmins, and they used to, they will be on their property. And other people can come, but it is the rich person's responsibility to make sure the temple worship is going on, and daily basis. One is not dependent on others to run it. And I know of many people in India which do that. So my questions are related to the reason for the organized efforts which Srila Prabhupada did. Because from the beginning days, Srila Prabhupada was of course instructed not to build temples and such things. If I mean, first priority was to distribute books. Now, when he started preaching, he started developing like League of Devotees and organizing. When he came to US, then he established it as an organization. And throughout the vein, we see his effort to try to bring devotees together, to try to do an organized effort to preach Krishna consciousness, to even develop a community sense of, the seven purposes of ISKCON are there. Of course, I understand that when you say all those few things which you indicated, and I've had also the similar experiences where organized effort requires a lot of effort to keep it organized, meaning where people are not being exploited, and the things are, interpersonal relationships are going on well, everyone is secure, financially also independent. All those things which you mentioned are completely correct. They're realistic. So how to ensure that while doing the organized effort is is the, like the holy grail, so to say. And like if we can, because organization, you know as you know, I do not understand how do you propose in without an organized effort. Let's say brahmachari training needs to be done, because children will grow up, they'll become little older. Now, in Jewish community and other places, they have seminaries where they have, like, they send children to seminaries, and the whole community is, it's a community effort. Now, the seminary needs a temple next to it, because children, at the temple. So they have these things too. And in the Jewish communities also, these are congregational temples. These are not Catholic church, like that big institution. In New York, I know all the temples, they are like small, small, small. There so much fighting, legal litigation. Our lawyer, who was helping us with this whole GBC lawsuit, he was hired to represent one. The two brothers were fighting over over two rabbi brothers, who were, father was a big Jewish leader. He had like so many followers. They were living in a neighborhood in Brooklyn, big time. This is one of the biggest leaders there. There were two big leaders. He was one of them. He had two children. When the father passed away, these two children, they fought like crazy in lower court, this court, that court, higher court, then Supreme Court. They were fighting like 7, 10 years. This battle went on, and between those small, small properties, small, small things, like that kind of very heavy litigation going on. And I don't know how one can avoid, first of all, organized effort, let's say for brahmachari training, seminary, temple, each one, because you can't just have brahmachari in your home. Legally also, it's not possible. One needs to follow certain codes and laws and everything. Plus, you need more money and you have to invite a donation, and donation means you have to get some to register something, and register something means organization in which non-family members have to be, otherwise people can't. So as soon as you have somebody other than your family, now you are talking about potential conflicts. So what to speak of in Jewish thing, two brothers themselves are fighting, part of the family, you know. So I do not know how the or one can avoid organization, like just for cows too. As soon as you start keeping cows, how would you, like, cows multiply? You need much bigger land and much bigger land and much bigger land. Unless you, like you were mentioning, your uncle sells off the buffaloes when they are not producing milk. Otherwise, you'll need much bigger land and to something to do with it, and that requires an organized effort to try to figure out what to do, because one single person can't be expected, because each house, if it is separate and they're keeping one cow, let's say, but they keep growing and you don't know what to do. And so what to do, like even in India, the plain land is where the cows go and graze, that is called gochar, and that is legally a community land. Gochar, a community land, and it is maintained by the community. If fencing, some problems are going on, water excess, all these things, it's a combined community organized effort. They maintain it. Otherwise, somebody else takes it away. They call kabja, they just take it away and nobody is there to answer. So, I mean, everything, I mean, that is why older times, everything developed as a community organized effort. It's like temple, brahmachari, children's school, like gurukuls, seminary, anyway, cows, and if you want to do any research work, grants, uh, public coming, visiting. I mean, if they see only small places, how many people will be inspired to, to, like, they need training, they need some resources. It's tough to do this by single people. Like, you would need organization in every place. Now, it may develop, as you're saying, in the future, we shouldn't plan for it now. That is fine. That is all right. That because that seems like there is that those are like different stages in development. That's not weird. But as a organization, the need of an organization itself, I am talking about. What do you feel about this whole thing? Whether we may need organization later or not, and if we would need organization, can we somehow figure out a way to build certain ways, understanding codes, maybe culture of an organization, or some other method by which an organized effort can be successful, rather than throwing it away completely because it doesn't work in some time, place, and circumstance. Okay, Kevin.
Yes, bro. Can you hear me?
Yes, now I can hear you.
Okay. Yes, bro. Actually, how we see about this, or I think it may be needed at some point, but not like, let's say, how the farm communities have been established, because some people has organized. Sorry if I'm a little bit agitated. I'm just taking to Lassie upstairs. So how we see it is that right now, as you said, there is no need, but in the future there may be some need. So right now there are no brahmacharis. So we we don't have to worry much about that. But at any point, one of them may come. Like Arjuna Prabhu, he wrote me. Uh, we didn't know each other. He wrote me that he was very inspired by seeing the preaching in Mexico, and he wanted to come. And next month, he was here. It was like that. So far the training, we have some like because we are also training some devotees, like everyone, like brahmacharis, non-brahmacharis. We have some system of teaching them the philosophy. We we have some platforms, like some e-learning platforms. We have manuals. We have videos like this, like for basic training. But they also need a place where to live. So that when the time comes, we can set aside some place for them. For that, right now we don't worry much about that because even it is seen around the world that no brahmacharis are joining. Everyone is suffering, not like in the 70s, 80s, 90s. Then when I knew the Hare Krishna movement in it was 2012 in Mexico City, there were like 60 brahmacharis living in the temple. Now there are no brahmacharis, not a single one brahmachari living there. So we want to focus not in brahmacharis but in grihastas. And through the time, everything will be asking us. Every single aspect of organization will be asked by the situation, by the current situation. Now the current situation is that, so like phases, you have phase one, phase two, like that. So the situation right now is requesting us that we need a place where to live and how to maintain our bodies, how to maintain the family. So for that, it works. We think it works because we haven't experienced it. What I was saying that right now, let's just move there. Let's keep going what we are doing here, chanting, trying to attract people, distributing some books, the Srimad Bhagavatam, Bhagavad Gita, live streams, and training even uh, at distance devotees with these platforms, with these videos, with these courses that we have with all these materials, like that. And then let's invite some other devotees to come, do their own life, like to maintain their bodies, being Krishna conscious, meeting with them for programs, and in future, if some brahmacharis come, and if someone has the place to host them, I mean, like some extra place, some extra house, something extra, or want to give something to them, then they can do. Now, like you talk about these donations, actually, though we are almost the whole time uh, like doing service as full time here, my wife and I, not full time because I'm still doing some projects for maintaining our bodies, for earning some money. Still, we are not too much into asking donations. So actually, we don't ask donations. Sometimes the bodies of people want to give, so we direct everything to the printing of books. We don't we don't enjoy even a single penny, not even for maintaining our bodies. But brahmacharis, they are supposed to beg. They can ask donations. But we see that there is, in this situation, there is not even a need for an institution because our idea is that they can beg with other devotees, with other local people. So let's say like my father, my parents live just next to us. So what they do is like we don't ask them, but because they see that we are doing service here and there like that, they bring some fruits, vegetables, some grains. We don't ask them, but they send, and they are like, okay, they say like that, let's bring to the devotees because they are preaching Krishna consciousness. But we are not brahmacharis. So we expect that devotees think like that okay, he's preaching full time, this brahmachari, let me support him in every aspect, like medicine, like clothes, this, that. So in that way, there is no need of this institution, and it is like a more natural way of living. I had a very bad experience with some brahmacharis, the ones that invited me. I was very disappointed because I didn't have association for many years. I only attended ISKCON for 3 months and then left. I was practicing alone, so I was very enthusiastic about meeting them. But then I can say, to sum it up, that there are some brahmacharis that their mind is dwindling in sense gratification and women, but they just don't want to work. They just want to be maintained by the others. That's why they don't get married. Even I was told by some of the leader, not so by the leader, that he wanted to get married, but he didn't want to work. So he was satisfied asking donations from others, and some craziness that was going on in that temple. So we, like in the Namahatas, it's very beautiful. Some devotees that visit us and come to the Namahatas, they say it's like very, the mode of goodness, like very beautiful, because all the people that attend the Namahata program, they bring something for the deity and for the person in charge of the Namahata. So they bring rice, fruits, they even leave some money there. So everyone already knows that I should bring something to the deity and to the devotee of the deity. So they give at their best capacity. Sometimes they even bring like some plates, some incense, something. So same for brahmacharis. If there is already a community, then the community, if it's cultivated, that's why we want to focus on being sincere to Prabhupada and to advance in Krishna consciousness, not to just stay in the neophyte stage, because the institution helps a lot to the neophyte stage, but we should go beyond the neophyte stage. If we go beyond the neophyte stage, then even without an institution, we can keep going everything very smoothly. I have seen devotees that are in an institution temple and they do great, but outside the institution, they is the complete opposite. But it shouldn't be like that. With an institution or without an institution, we should keep going. Like I give the example sometimes, like in the Chaitanya Lila, there were not like some institution, right? They were leaders, they were spiritual masters, they were devotees, they were kirtan. So we should come kind of that way of experiencing Krishna consciousness, of living Krishna consciousness, of approaching Krishna consciousness. Not like, I think what Prabhupada did cannot be replicated at all. He gave us the opportunity that the institution be like the source for advanced devotees. And I'm not saying that there are no advanced devotees in the society. The institution there were not, but we can see what happened in the institution, and we can see what is going on right now, right? So I think Prabhupada gave us the opportunity
But we, neophyte devotees, couldn't make it, and then we made a disastrous thing with his institution. So now we don't have the institution anymore. It's in the hands of someone else. So oh, to build another institution like that, like, and I have shared this with other devotees, especially with Harikata Prabhu, and he has the same idea. Nobody will be able to replicate what Prabhupada did. So the best is to cultivate, not based on the institution, but based on the attachment to the spiritual master. And that will, the institution won't be an obstacle. Not having an institution won't be an obstacle because the bodies will be fixed up to Prabhupada. They can be in the middle of the jungle and preach Krishna consciousness without lamenting that they don't have devotee association. That they, yeah, maybe most of the bodies won't be like that. So still you need like some place. We found that place through the Namahatas, as I was explaining. So until now, we haven't, not having an institution hasn't stopped our activities, but trying for an institution, in our personal case, stop some of our activities. So we think that later on some need may be there, like for cows. You were mentioning cows. So we think that, for example, in the village of my relatives, there are no institution for keeping cows, of course. They are killing the cows. But some organization is needed. But when I mean no organization, I mean like some legal thing strictly, right? Because then there are fight over it. So whatever you can handle, just take that. If you cannot handle that, then don't take it. If you cannot handle cows, to protect cows, then don't take them. Organization must be between individuals. How to do this, how to do that. Like now there are 5 brahmacharis. Okay, so let's have Istagoshti there. Let's discuss the devotees, what we can do with this. The brahmacharis. Okay, I have a place where they can stay, and I think that is solved. What they are gonna eat, how they are gonna survive. Okay, so let's help the brahmacharis. I can give them prashadam, I can give them fruits, vegetables. So for that, I don't see that we need an institution. I don't see it. Donations, I think donations should be given by the local community, not outside, like that. A school, then organization is needed, but not in that sense of legal thing, but someone who is knowledgeable in basic material uh, topics, and he's very knowledgeable in Krishna consciousness. He can teach, but for now, there are some kids already, the boys with kids. They are very grown up already, like 9, 10 years. I think they are going to school, so I don't think they will leave school. We don't plan to ask them to leave school, just go to the school, but cultivate Krishna consciousness. And one thing is that in future, maybe not this generation, but 2, 3 generations, the whole thing will change, and the purification will be like gradual, because it was already tried, this approach, like very not radical, I don't want to say, but direct. Okay, children are into gurukula, this, that, this, but the parents were not even trained, so they couldn't even train their children. When all these things with the gurukula happened, they were not able to train, or maybe the children didn't want, maybe, I don't know, but it was already tried. We couldn't take it. We made mess with Prabhupada's institution. So we believe that it will be gradual. It will be in one generation, two, three, four generations. But the first start is to get a place to live in some rural place. So it is in the mode of goodness. Otherwise, the contact with the city is mode of passion that brings mode of ignorance. There is such a craziness here in the city, and sometimes the bodies are falling because of this interaction with these modes instead of being in the mode of goodness. So that's like our first approach. Like first stage, just go live there, get a living, live peacefully, chant Hare Krishna, and the society will be developing step by step. Like the situation will be asking you for things, will be requesting you. Now we request a school, now we request a hospital, now we request this, now we request that. Step by step, just as some community like organization is there, but not like, when I say no organization, I mean no institution, legal institution, right? Whatever you can manage without that, it's good. But in future it may be also there some institution, right? Some institution for something, I don't know, how cow protection. And we also don't know how the war will end. Now the situation is very tense in the war. United States are like, I don't know what will happen to the war, but yeah, I tell Kiri that the United States and Europe have big karma, because they have been exploiting people for hundreds of years, and every empire falls, as Prabhupada says. So we don't know what really will happen to the war very soon. So it may be that that we are in such a situation that there is no internet, there is no electricity, there is no like government as we know it right now. Some devotees share some predictions. I'm not very knowledgeable about these topics. Some predictions about war, about the destruction of a large part of the humanity, like that. So I don't know until what point these institutions will be held, but we can just do what it was done during thousands of years, hundreds of years, where there were not like these institutions as we know them right now. There was some organization, of course, like in future it may be that it is successful and 50 families come and live and there is some community. So you need like some local government, let's say, some local leadership. So that will be asked at that moment, that will be requested at that particular moment. But now just like kind of flow with the current situation, that there are no brahmacharis every time, even in India, some devotees say, every time there are less brahmacharis. In the West also, less brahmacharis. Mexico City, no brahmacharis at all. So it may come. Yeah. So we are just flowing with the current situation, and is that we would just want to establish in some place, live, get our living, and chant Hare Krishna, preach as much as we can, inspire others, call other devotees to live nearby, next to us, like that. And then things will be asked for. Things will be asked for. Yeah, so yeah, whatever is needed, then it should be supplied to fulfill the need, to fill the need. But yeah, right now, that's why I express like that about institutions. Not that I hate institutions, I don't see any value of them. But I think that in our situation, time, places, and circumstance, we don't need an institution right now. We just need to, because even we don't have the copyrights for printing books, but we are still printing books. So even I think it helps us that we are not an institution, because yeah, many bodies are now taking up also to this printing of books. So how to track everyone who is doing it in Spanish. So yeah, right now an institution will be some burden over us, on us, like paying taxes, like I don't know, something, some legal things. You have to go to some offices, the government, do something, this, that, to be worried about this, to be busy about this, and yeah, and I was very sad when I saw this Hare Krishna community, farm community in Jaipur, nearby Jaipur, because very nice houses. We stay in one of them, very nice temple, but it was empty. It was empty. So at that time, Girivaradari and I thought, okay, let's not build something very big like this, and then it will be empty. Better is something small, and those who are sincere will be attracted by this simple thing. Later on, a big thing can be produced. But first, let's have advanced devotees, or at least fixed up devotees, that I think is the same. Fixed up devotees, advanced devotees, and then when the times come, you already have a very good army. You don't have like some neophyte army that later on they will just fade away, they will fall down. No, first build an advanced army, a fixed up army, and with that help, it will be possible to have big temple, big deities. So it may come the moment. So actually we are not giving like absolute ideas, like we don't have absolute ideas. We are just moving with the situation. So we saw that we were doing that since 5 years ago, moving with the situation. What is asking us, okay, let's provide. What is requesting, okay, let's provide. So we just move. If we need to go to India to do this, to do that, then we just are moving like with the waves, like that. So the situation is asking us this, that, so we do it. So in the future, it may be some big temple, big institution. We don't know. We believe that we cannot imitate Prabhupada in that effort. That won't be possible. Even when there are some institutions that have tried, they somehow need to compromise in some aspects, right? So we have, I don't want to mention names, but we have maybe some institutions, and we see that they compromise somehow or other. They are compromising. So it's not the institution of Prabhupada where nobody is being paid, everyone is being surrendered to Krishna according to Bhagavad Gita. But no, you have high salaries. Like I just got to know like some leader of some big institution, Prabhupada's disciple, is earning millions of dollars as the leader of that. I was amazed. I couldn't believe it, like millions of dollars. So you see then that you cannot handle an institution as Prabhupada did, with servants working without payment, totally surrender, many brahmacharis, sannyasis, this, that. So you need to compromise. So for us, it's better to have something very minimum, very small, but not compromising, than to compromise all these things that Prabhupada used to get very angry with. So, but yes, Prabhupada, it's not that I'm opposed to the institutions or like that, but right now we see that we don't need it, and we will try to avoid them as much as we can. So brahmacharis, okay, we will provide you. Some other devotees are being trained to provide those who are, and we see it like my parents. I don't ask them anything. Actually, I don't like that they give us just because we offer it to Gornitai, otherwise we wouldn't accept it. But they bring, my mom comes with 3 different fruits, 4 different fruits, take, because you are preaching Krishna consciousness. My father comes, some other devotee sometimes says, Girivaradari, I want to give you some skirt, some sari, some this, just because they see, okay, they are busy in Krishna consciousness. We don't ask, but they give. So we want to cultivate that. Brahmacharis, then we see that we don't need institution. Everyone will provide the brahmacharis because they have this mind. They are preaching Krishna consciousness. They are the most dear to Krishna. Okay, let me provide them clothes, food, a place where to stay. So then that is already fulfilled, like that require the situation. Now schools, there will be schools. Children need to be educated. Right now, we don't need like children who will start from first grade to be taught. So I think we wouldn't. Sometimes the bodies ask us, "What do you recommend?" We tell them just keep doing your material life as you are doing now. There is no infrastructure
to take such a decision in future, and that is why we want to move to the rural area. So there are more options, and not only going to the university to become an engineer, but some local thing you can learn, some local job you can take, honey, cheese, milk, cows, agriculture, and in the rural area it's easier to actually live. It's even easier to beg in the rural area. So that's why yeah, we are just now what we have now, what the situation is requesting us, and we are trying to provide what the situation is asking us. But in future we will see. Maybe we are wrong, so we have to try and see if we were wrong or not.
Okay, Prabhu, very good. Time will tell, and we will keep revisiting it to see how your experience is going. Um, it'll be very interesting to see how you progress. Time, place, circumstance, how then Krishna giving more instructions and how the need is arising. So this is very good. Every year probably we should talk and see how it is going. So we can map it all out for other people when they're going through the similar things. I had a temple in New York, like suburb of New York City in Long Island, and from that I was trying to bring people to a farm about 1.5 hours, 2 hours north, and I got a small place, not a big place, small place, and I was hoping that nearby different people will buy land and also build a community like that. And then I realized, other than me, no one is ready to move because there are so much. They like the idea generally, but most people they are so engrossed in so many things, especially children, one of the family, other elders, so much engrossed in material life or a job or classes for the children or schooling and becoming a career for the children. So it's like really tough to move for most people, giving up their job or anything. And at least in the US, because there's so much of money required to do anything. I don't know about Mexico. There's so much money required just to buy a house, and in the rural area, it's just a lot of big commitment it is to leave job and everything. So no one moved, and so and then I started seeing Srila Prabhupada wants beginning time to move, convert the temple into a Varnashram college. Then I started understanding that, oh, I don't need to move people from the city to here. I just need to train people who already want to move to from the city. People who are already like either farmers themselves or living in the rural area, or people who have given up completely the city. Not that I'm trying to pull them away. Already given up, and they need training, spiritual training or even material training. And those are the people, uh, and then devotees, already devotees who are at more advanced devotees, like you said, not army of neophytes, but army of good devotees. So if they are there like that, then it is no, because when Brahmana devotees come and we tell them, oh, no, you make your own place, they have to take a job or do another business, and then they lose their whole occupation. There are a couple of devotees here. whom I was telling them that why don't you move? And they said, oh, then I have to start working. When he is now nicely situated and just preaching everything. So, so that's why I started thinking somehow I need to provide for the Brahmin devotees, like advanced devotees, the older devotees, and so that they can provide the association in the, so basically the gradually this, that's why I started thinking more in terms of not Varnashrama community, but a college, because community is more like organically developing, but people aren't trained to do that right now. I mean, at least I don't know anybody who is trained to talk to each relationship wise, occupations, how to deal with structurally, socially, mindset of different varnas. Really, so I realized we need to train them, and training means an organized effort because it's not just by words one can just say. It requires by physically showing them. Srila Prabhupada writes that, and for Varnashrama training, we need to show them. And show them meaning there are many, uh, like many enterprises are required to show people, and not just devotees or non-devotees, just required. Farming or cow production or even farming so many ways and so how to coordinate everything together and I mean, could be possibly be done without that, but I don't know how it can be done cohesively and supportively and like interdependently without some kind of organization which is not like organization doesn't need to be under one banner. Like what I am thinking is each of these enterprises would be separate enterprises being run by different devotees on their own, by their own legally and all these things. But most devotees don't know how to run enterprises. Just they need help. They even need help financially sometimes to start up. And uh, and if we don't, apart from that, if we don't do some kind of organized effort, then I mean, it is just like one can chant, but when there is more help in devotees guiding, then it becomes much more better chanting, better book distribution. Like you mentioned, you went to Spain and you learned better like that, like temple service and kirtan and everything. So these just like that in one's enterprises also like business or anything, if there is some help, it is useful. Now when devotees people go out to take help from others, non-devotees, they can learn from that. But then there is a Krishna conscious way of doing same enterprise. Just like cow protection is one example. When one is doing bathing, just like you mentioned your family members, without God consciousness, people can learn how to do that by going to some place. But with God consciousness put inside, then it is not a working model. So then how, where will they learn? And likewise, in many of the aspects of so many aspects of the similar way, teaching, and even Krishi also has seen. So that's where I started thinking that we need research, and research means it becomes a more organized effort because grants and all and people are giving money means more people required and more organization required. So Prabhu, this is how I have gradually, uh, you know, gone into this direction because I started seeing more and more the need of this. Just circumstances led me to kept thinking that this is what we need. But so every circumstance is different. and it'll be very interesting to see how you progress and how it will be in the future. So, how many tulsi plants you are? You have 100 plants, Prabhu?
Over 80, Prabhu.
Wow.
Yeah, like I was thinking because I'm watering them, so I was thinking that I planted more than I could take charge of them. So yeah, I was talking about not taking more than we can take charge of. But yeah, some responsibility needs to be there. So I think that's what you were saying. Like me a lot to train devotees because Krishna consciousness actually make us a responsible person, responsible with the spirit soul, not the killer of the soul, not to kill the soul, and also like Prabhupada says, how is in English? How it says military, in Spanish, discipline, discipline says, Krishna consciousness help a lot with that. So those devotees come very responsible. So any project, even if it is an institution, they can take they can take it very seriously. Otherwise, they will fade away, or because they were not most important with these platforms, because the devotees are in a course. Like constantly during all the year, they are taking examinations, they are taking some training, online training, physical training in the Namahatas, also like I don't know, like 20 examinations per year, kind of that, different aspects of Krishna consciousness, some debates that sometimes we organize in Stagosti, like that. So yeah, training, I think that's the most you bodies, then I think everything will be successful, either in an institutional way or without institution will be successful.
Mhm. Okay, Prabhu. Thank you very much. Very grateful that you could come and explain and deeply. And I'm very I'm very confident it will happen as you are hoping because you're focusing on the main thing, which is the books, the main thing, and with that pleasure of Krishna, everything will come in time. All the resources, intelligence, people, everything will come. Okay, Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Thanks, Prabhu.
Obeisance to your good
Thanks,
luck.
Hare Krishna. Thanks for